Hello, welcome to sallyhughesbeauty.com. I am not Sally Hughes, alas, but Sally's on holiday and she has sent me very kindly along to me one of my heroes and one of the coolest people in the world.
Oh my God,
D.
thank
Hello.
you. Awesome.
Yeah, big fan. Me and Sally Hughes, big fan of your TV show, big fan of your makeup.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to this country.
Yeah.
Because I've been flying to America a lot to buy the
Super
liner.
long, right? Yeah. But now you won't have to, which is great.
Good for the planet, good for my
Yeah,
so,
yep. Awesome.
Yeah. So how long have you've been here? A couple of days?
Yeah, I got here on Monday, and which is two days ago or so, I think. Everything kind of starts melting into one.
Yeah.
But and then I go back on Friday, which is what's today? Thursday? Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of quick for my taste. You know, normally I would love to like stay and spend time, but yeah, I'll be back in October for like the PA, and that's when I'll get to like spend a lot more time around town and visit friends and stuff. But
Is this your first time in London?
oh hell no, I've been here so many times. Yeah, I love London. Yeah, I've spent a bunch of time out here, and every time I've come, it's always been amazing. And like, I was like, I wonder if people here take for granted like how beautiful the architecture is here, you know, because you guys make the States look like a joke when it comes to architecture. We don't have that much history. We're such a baby country, you know? So like some of like, you know, ghetto little apartments are like so beautifully handcrafted. I'm like, oh, it's just inspiring.
They look like Sherlock Holmes lived there.
Yeah, you guys are like, whatever, same old.
So where do you hang out when you're in the UK?
You know, I don't have like a specific place, you know, I don't drink anymore, so it's not like I go to bars or anything, but I don't know, I have friends that live out here, you know, musicians and designers and things like that I like to visit. But yeah, I would love to start learning where more like vintage shops are in the area, like good ones, you know, because I don't know my way around too much.
Yeah. We'll go
Yeah, okay, cool.
That was the invitation to go shopping.
Yes.
It's on.
For sure.
Oh man, so I was gonna say obviously the beauty range is huge, and I kind of wanted to ask you like who were your beauty influences? Because you have a really strong look.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Or I think I take it as a compliment. I don't have anybody that I actually like emulate the style. I remember my first experience with eyeliner, for example. I found like some liquid liner that was brown, and I remember not knowing how to put on eyeliner, but there was something intuitive about it. Like I knew that this went on my eye, you know, and I just tried it, and I just remember seeing such a difference that it made, and I absolutely like fell in love. That was like I've never turned back from, you know, the cat eye, you know. So I just think, I think it's something that kind of organically happened. But you know, I love like everything from the Victorian era. I think as far as fashion and aesthetics and design and architecture as well is my favorite. But as far as makeup, I love the 40s. 40s are probably one of my favorite. You know, it's like such a great era that just accentuated femininity and not in I don't know, in a strong way, I think. But yeah, so I don't know if there's a specific person per se, you know.
Yeah. Sure. So those any movies and those movies from the 40s and those kind of things, and movie icons.
Yeah, totally. I love a lot of like the Mexican actresses from like the 50s. So like in Mexico, for example, like the cinema was well, it's kind of shit pretty much. Like there was one decade that was the decade, and it was the 1950s, and so they call it the golden decade, you know. And it was like when there was like the Rita Hayworths of Mexico and stuff. So a lot of the portraits that I have tattooed and stuff are of these Mexican actresses that nobody really knows, like in the States, who they are. But like to me, they're just, you know, these beautiful, strong Latin women and at the time, you know, if you were an actress, you were a singer, you were a dancer, like you actually, you know, knew how to do things. It wasn't just about like, oh, I'm hot and I'm going to show up. You know what I mean? Like you know, you had to really study for that shit, which, you know, I think it's kind of a dying trade in some ways.
Working hard.
Yes, it sure is. Yeah.
So you were talking about being a kid and trying on eyeliner for the first time and stuff, and I love that when kids play with makeup, and it's not about beauty, like making yourself into a beautiful, but making yourself having fun with makeup. When you say that there's, you know, I mean, some of the ranges aren't like they're like non-traditional.
Sure, yeah, of course. I mean, I think like that's the cool part about makeup, that it is supposed to be fun. I think. And you know, I mentioned a little bit yesterday about how like we're entering this really new and exciting era that like the things that maybe weren't considered acceptable or beautiful are now considered very cool, and I think that that's great. But yeah, I think it's all about just having fun and you know, just being kind of free with it. You know, I'm not like a makeup pusher on people. I actually like people without makeup too. I like myself without makeup, and you know, like I don't care if people buy my lipstick or not. Really, to be honest, I just want to create something that I'm proud of, and then if you love it, that's icing on the cake. But I think ultimately wearing makeup should be fun. It's not to be taken so seriously. You know, if you don't like it, just take it off. You know. And,
sure.
Yeah.
And try on a new persona.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, I think I would love to know if you've ever experimented with like a sort of different look to your own. Like, have you done like beach looks and like bronzer and
no
makeup look?
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much never really had a tan, so I'm okay with that. I like the contrast. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, I think you know, I definitely experiment with things. I think eyebrows are a big one for me because you know they really change everything about your face. You know, when people you can arch your eyebrows and it'll change your appearance altogether, or you can define them, or for me, like I fluctuate between like a lighter like taupe type brow and then a darker, more contrasty power brow, and yeah, so sometimes I can change it up with that, but yeah.
But you've never done you've never had the beach hair and the bronzer.
I'll leave that to the pros. The beach pros can have that.
It's so perverse about it. If I ever put on like bronze makeup, I look like, you know, Neapolitan ice cream.
No, I don't know what is that.
It's the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice cream.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's awesome. That's funny. Yeah, I would probably look pretty funny with a really deep dark tan, I think.
I'd love to see you try it. I'd love to see you try that look on. So have you had any, I mean, I guess as all of us, we experiment with things, have you had any beauty disasters over the years? What's the kind of craziest thing you've ever done to yourself?
Like, I don't know if they're disasters. I mean, I definitely like
experiments.
Yeah.
It's a non-judgmental word. Let's experiment.
Sure. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm like Bob Ross about it. I get like everything's a happy accident, you know. Like, oh, you know, it's okay if it gets messed up. And so actually, a lot of times I've stumbled upon really cool combinations through experimenting. You know. You know, I think when we launched Everlasting, for example, I did a bunch of tutorials about creating like different styles of ombre, not just like your, you know, giving you depth. Obviously, those are like the basics, but like, you know, if it's like horizontal or vertical or you know something that's more, you can use it editorial or just for fun. And I remember combining Echo, which is this like really nice blue denim that's over at the end, with red, with the outlaw red, and it was. Putting just a little bit of blue in the corners is like really added a different dimension, you know? Yeah, and it's almost subtle. Like, you know, I would like look in the mirror and I'd have to take a double take. I'm like, wait, I'm wearing blue lipstick, kind of. Like, it's pretty cool, you know? Because the Outlaw is a blue-based red, so it was very complimenting. But yeah, so I just think it's good sometimes when you experiment and stumble upon something different, you know? That way, change it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you were a teenager, did you like have crazy hair colors and?
Yeah, I mean, I had a mohawk, so I mean, it's funny because my parents, my parents were quite conservative at the time, and they still are. But when I first started tattooing, I was 14 years old, and that was
that's young.
Yeah, and that was around the time where I got my first tattoo, which was not pretty or anything. It wasn't fancy or anything, but it was cool. And I think my dad was more worried and concerned about my haircut versus the tattoo, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was just so in your face, you know? And I think, you know, my family's from Argentina, so they come from even a different culture. They're not Americanized by any means at the time, and so it was like, oh my God, is our daughter like a drug addict gang member or something, you know? And I'm like, no, I was actually just really into punk rock music.
Yeah, was there a particular punk musician who you were emulating?
No, I mean, I've always, I think, as far as my mohawk goes, I was always a big fan of Wendy Williams and her mohawk. You know, there's different kinds of mohawks you guys can get, but you know, she just had like the more like Mr. T, you know, like very wide and just like fluffy and whatever. And I always liked that look. I never like spiked it out or anything. Just, you know, more like just messy. And actually, I don't know why I don't. I need to name a shade after Wendy O. Williams. She was such an amazing person, you know. Yeah, she was a gardener and an activist and obviously a musician, and got arrested a bunch of times for driving Cadillacs into pools, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and the plasmatics, it was actually one of my first vinyl records that I ever bought. Why haven't I named a shade Wendy? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, you get it.
Yeah.
I
Note to self. Yeah. Yeah, but then again, I wouldn't say that I was emulating her style because
yeah, that's
you
not
know,
the punk way.
well, it was just more like I mean, I definitely admired her, but I think I was just trying to do my own thing, and also like I liked a lot more like I guess like the gothier shit anyway, so I was more like a whatever, a nerdier version of that or something, Yeah.
A grebo, you call over here. That's the old kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the alternative kids.
That's awesome.
Oh man, I love it.
Cool.
So did you just quickly? You want to tell me 3 products you'd take if you could take any?
Well, people ask me that all the time, and it's so difficult. It's I mean, red lipstick.
It doesn't have to be your range, but
okay, cool. Oh, yeah, any product at all.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I would say actually it would be my tattoo liner, and it's not because it's mine, but it's because I use it every single day. Not just for eyeliner, but it's so precise. The component itself is really precise. I can show it to you actually. It's right here. I feel like a lot of people are already familiar with it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Do you have that in focus? Yeah, so this bad boy is like my absolute favorite. So if you look at like this, the sharpness of that, there's actually 300 bristles within that component, and it took me about I forgot how many revisions of going back and forth with this company to make it. And once we did, it was like the most amazing distribution. But let me know if you're in focus. Can you see that? If you just do a really teeny tiny line with no pressure at all, you can see like how super tiny. And that was why I called it tattoo liner. It wasn't so much that it's permanent, of course. It was more just like finding a component that really is as close to a fine line single needle as possible. And then if you want to, obviously, you could with adding just a little bit of pressure, build or make lines thicker and more dramatic, kind of like how I do my eyeliner. But yeah, so it's not just the formula, it's the component, it's everything about it. It really lends itself to doing so much more than just eyeliner. And I think that eyeliner in general is quite a intimidating product for someone who doesn't wear eyeliner, I mean, I've been wearing it since I was 2 years old. But I call that one the dummy proof liner, because I think all beginners can use it and get used to it. Yeah,
Big fan of tattoo liner. I've always got it in my handbag.
Oh, cool, awesome. Yeah, and we have ink liner too, which is the felt tip version, and just because there are some people that prefer felt tip, and for me, I feel like I can control the tattoo liner component a lot better than the felt tip. But yeah, it's all about distribution and what you like. So yeah.
You got 2 more products?
Oh, sure, yeah, two. Yeah, so then that would be number 2. My number 1 would be red lipstick. So any from either collection, I would be happy with that. And my third, I would say, it's a toss-up because I love my foundation that I wear, but this Shade and Light eyeshadow palette is just such a must-have. I mean, I think it's not just for the regular client like myself, but for the pros. I've had a lot of makeup artist friends that love this because it's so diverse. I mean, it's our kind of we're kind of well known for this amazing formula. It's a 100% matte, super velvety finish. Have you gotten to play with this yet?
I haven't.
Okay, good. Yeah, I love this. It just feels like velvet. All of it's highly pigmented but super blendable. But when you look at the palette itself, you can see that there's quads. So, and obviously you can mix and match, there's no wrong way of doing it, but you'll see that you've got your warm tones, your cool tones, and your neutrals. So this is basically the go-to palette for any skin tone, for any look. If you want to do a natural look or a really bold, smoky eye, you can do that. I mean, there's so much. And I do my eyebrows with it too if I need to, so yeah. Cool. You could probably contour your face if you wanted to. I mean, I'm a little bit too pale. No, I could use that one. That one might work. Mix these two. Anyway.
So you clearly work really closely with the development.
Oh my God, with everything, yeah. I mean, I drew this with my hands, wow. Yeah, and that's why when I look at it, it's I can see all the imperfections. I'm like, oh yeah, that H should have been a little bit shorter. But it's kind of the beauty of it, because I feel like everything is so consumed by computer generated images now that it's loses its soul.
Oh, that's so
but
cool.
Yeah, it's super important to me that I have a hand in all of that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, do you have any beauty sins? As in, do you rat your hair? Do you sleep in your makeup? Do you?
No.
Are you normal? Are you a human being?
I mean, I do. No, I'm really pretty good about washing my face before I go to bed for sure. But I think the only like I guess kind of weirdo thing I have is like some people reuse their eyelashes and I just can't. And I feel guilty about it sometimes because I'll use them once and then I throw them away.
Wow.
And I know that that's somewhat wasteful. I mean, they're tiny little lashes. It's not that bad. But that's probably
someone grungy though.
I don't know, something about, I mean, I know you can clean them and stuff, but I just don't like to reuse the eyelashes. So
wow.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
but I also don't buy obviously I buy synthetic lashes, so it's not like I'm buying minks and
Oh yes, because you're a vegan.
Yeah.
That's great. And the whole range is vegan, right?
Yeah. So there's a few things that we still have to formulate in order to be 100% vegan there, which are some eyeshadows. It's just some shades. Everything like all the lipsticks, all the complexion, anything that's going to be launching new. And I think for the UK, we're gonna have already launched all of the Locket franchise. So, so from that point on, everything else that's new, you guys will get as vegan. So, and I made it really super easy. Like you can go, when you go to like katmondibeauty.com, there's like a little vegan alert tab, and it lets you know, like, makes it easier for vegans,
That's great. That was, you were saying yesterday at the launch that, we live in sort of exciting times with technology.
Yeah, man.
People just sort of lazily use animal-based
Sure.
products. And
yeah, some consciously and unconsciously, but I think for me, if I can make it super easy for people to to live a compassionate life, then why not,
That's terrific.
Yeah, so next will be shoes. I gotta make some vegan shoes.
You're designing shoes?
I want to, yeah. I think it's like it's like the hardest one to find, It's like, yeah.
Oh, like fake leather.
Yeah, or just non, because I mean, it's not just like in leather, there's also just a lot of shoe adhesives use like horse products and stuff, so like in glues. So it's a lot behind it. And also there's like different ways that are less wasteful too in production. So yeah, but I feel like, if I can do it, why not? You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And do you have, so if you were, if you said you take your makeup off, you're very virtuous, and you don't squeeze your spots or
yeah.
But do you have any beauty tips that on about buying a product, like free beauty tips, any wisdom that's been handed down to you over the years?
I don't know. I think I have advice that I've given myself that I've just from the years of being a girl on the go is that like I just know that if I rush, I will mess up my makeup. Right. So even when I'm super late, if it's better just to admit defeat and just take your time, because it's only going to take more time if you try to rush it. So that's my only.
Very good
yeah. I'm like, oh fuck it. I accept it that I'm gonna be late and I'll have to pay the consequences, but at least I won't have to redo my goddamn eyelashes.
Is that quite important to you, like the kind of putting on a face before you go and do something?
No. I just think like if when you start, you want to finish. I'm not gonna show up with like half an eyeball done, but yeah, I think in certain occasions I think it's important to. I don't know. I think people get lazy now. There was a time where people used to, dress nicer and kind of like the airport used to be really like a nice clean place. Like now it's crazy with like just gum on everybody's shoes and stuff, So I don't know. I'm not opposed to like dressing up and looking nice or presentable or something, or just like taking care of yourself, in whatever way. Because some people don't like my style per se, but like I feel it's important to, I don't know. Take care of yourself.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No one has to like your style because that's your style.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'm being great. Okay. Cameron, thank you so
Oh my God, no, thank you.
much.
Yeah, this is such a good interview. I'm so excited to be here, and those were good questions, so thank you.
Oh, cool. Well,
I get asked a lot of the same was over, so this is cool. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going shopping now.
Yes.
Definitely gonna happen. So
Yep.
thank you, everyone.
Bye.
See you.